Thank you for joining the Part-Timers Barbecue. I'm Max, the Part-Time Pit Master, and if you're new to this channel and you like what you see, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all my upcoming videos. I appreciate it so much, and everybody who's already subscribed, you already know I appreciate you guys. So let's dig in. What are we doing today? Full packer brisket. I am super stoked on this. This is a AAA and it should be good. So let's break right in. Okay, so what we got here is that full packer brisket. I broke it down into two videos, so the actual trim and seasoning video is going to be separate because it's a little long. But anyway, so for this video, we're going to cut down already seasoned and trimmed. So as you can see here, we got our full packer trimmed, seasoned with a dose of my chicken and rib rub and my Barky briskets, which is an SPG. So this is going to give it that ready color. This is going to give it that savory salt and pepper. No sugars in these because my idea of a brisket is a more Texas style with that salt, pepper, apple cider vinegar, mustard as the binder. We trimmed it up, and this now is going to sit in the fridge for a few hours until I wake up bright and early to get it all in the pit. So until then, I'm going to go relax. I'll see you there. Alright guys, so it's 3:18 in the morning. The Traeger's fired up, warming up. We got the smoke tube going. We're starting off at 225. I'm gonna let that go for 3 hours, and then probably bump the temp up to 250 after that. I wanted to get this on the pit barrel, but the brisket was just too big, and I know about, you want airflow with your brisket. You want to be able to have some airspace around it. So it would have fit, but it would have just been way too snug, so I decided to fire up the Traeger, and I'm going to throw it on there. We're ready to go. Alrighty, so it's been resting all night. Let's throw it on now. I'm going to go point towards the stack. That's the hottest area. Well, the hot spot on it is over here. So. Next time you look at this, it'll be 3 hours into the cook. We're running lumberjack hickory in the hopper and char hickory in the smoke tube. Alrighty, I'm going back to bed. Right at the 3 hour mark now. It's 6 a.m. Back to bed for a little bit, kinda anyway, tossing and turning, but nevertheless, full transparency. I came out here a half hour ago, so at the 2 hour mark, because I wanted to check the hopper for pellet voids, because you always want to make sure that it's running smoothly. And as I did that, I also took a little peek, noticed it was drying out a bit, so I gave it a spray, but nevertheless, it's 3 hours now. We're going to check it, and then we're going to check it every hour after that. So let's go. Apple cider vinegar and water. So we're coming up to about the 5 hour mark, maybe 5.5 hours. It's looking good. I sprayed it a few times. You've seen that. But I want to talk about a couple things. So one, I want to talk about, I'm more camp, fat cap up. That's how I like to cook my briskets. I cook them like that on the pellet grill. I think the whole fat cap down on a pellet grill is a myth. Doesn't need to be done. The fat cap down thing comes from competitions and presentation standpoints. I feel like you're missing out when you cook your brisket fat cap down. As we open this up, you're gonna see the bottom's not gonna be burnt. So that's where I stand on that. You can cook it how you want to. There's nothing wrong with it. Some guys cook fat cap down and have great looking end results. So really, it's up to you. Another thing I want to say is trust the process. All right, don't overcomplicate it, but just go with the flow and try to manipulate things a little bit. And what I mean by that is don't be afraid to raise the temperature. I started at 225, about a half hour ago I bumped it up to 250, because I don't want to take forever to cook this thing. I want to get it done in around 12 hours. And that brings me to my third point. Always plan to get your brisket done earlier than you want. So put it on early. As you saw this morning, we were at around 3 o'clock I was up. Before 3:30 I had it on. I want to get this done before 3 o'clock so I can get it and have a nice rest. I want it to rest. I don't want to be rushed. It can wait and sit in the cooler or sit in your oven for a few hours, almost up to 6 hours, even longer in your oven if you set it to 155. So that is always a positive. So it's better to get it done early than late and have everybody waiting, or you can't wait to let it rest properly. You cut into it and you could potentially ruin your brisket, because resting is very important. So with all that being said, let's take a look at this thing. We're gonna let it keep going, and yeah, we'll be back when it's wrap time. So let's dive in, let's look. All right, so let's take a look. What I have here is a cotton glove under my nitrile gloves, so now I can grab hot stuff. So we got a great color on here. Fat's starting to render, and as you push it, see how it's definitely not ready to wrap yet. Always feel and touch your briskets. That's the best thing to do. Now I'm gonna flip it around, let the other side get some love. But you can see it's starting to turn yellow here, but it's not breaking. We are not ready to go. I'm not even gonna go to check the temp yet, but when I do, there's certain signs that I wanna look for, like this fat starting to be able to break. See how it's sticky? That's a good sign, but we're not quite ready yet. So I'd probably say another hour and we'll probably be ready to wrap. We'll check the temperature. Around 170 is when I like to wrap. But we're gonna keep going. It's looking good. Great color on this thing. Amazing color. But also I want to show you guys, that bottom is not burned. And that's been fat cap up the whole time. Perfect. Close it up. Actually, let me get the splits first. Let's close it up, and next time we'll be checking for temperature and getting ready to wrap. Okay, so now we're going to check internal temperature, see how we're doing. We're looking good. Look at that. Let's check. Okay, looking like we're ready to wrap pretty much. The back side can go a little bit more, but this front side is looking like, you know what, we'll probably give it an extra half hour and then we'll be wrapping. So within 30 minutes, we're gonna bring it inside and we're gonna wrap it. This is looking great, look at that. This is what you wanna look for. You wanna be able to touch your meat. All right, it's time to wrap this brisket up. We're around 170 internal temp, so that's usually my wrapping time. This is my first time wrapping in butcher paper. Normally I do foil, so let's see how this goes. Hit the paper with some brisket tallow, and let's wrap it up. We're fat cap up, and we're gonna try to end this wrap fat cap back up. So we're gonna go over, get it nice and tight. Wrap it up on the one side, crease it across, pinch the other side down, get it up and over, and then we're going to do the same thing, crease it across, it over. Fold the excess, tuck it underneath with one more fold, and back on the pit. So we're coming on to the just over 10-hour mark on this. And I want to show you guys, this is what you're looking for. I'm opening it up for you guys here. Watch. Temperature wise, we're in the 200s, but just look how it slides in. Like nothing. That is how you know you've rendered your brisket properly. So I'm going to be taking this off now. I'm going to be putting this in an oven set to 155. I'm going to let it rest until dinner time. So see you then. Let's cut into this brisket. It's been resting for about 3 hours now. Total cook time just over 10. And we're going to take a slice down the middle where the point in the flat meat, and let's take a look at how we did. And we did good. Perfectly rendered fat, awesome smoke ring. Let's get some slices from the flat. Like I've said before, the thicker end of the flat is usually the direction the grain's running in, so we're gonna start from there. Save that end piece because it's gold. And we're gonna aim to get these slices about a pencil width. As you might be able to tell, we're a little too tender with this, but personally, I'd rather have it too tender than not tender enough. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. This is still delicious. Now, I'm gonna cut into this point. Now on the point meat, the grain runs in the opposite direction. We're gonna take this chunk off here, put that off to the side because that's great for burn ends. Let's get into some slices now. With these slices, we're gonna make them a little thicker. Now let's lift this up and see if it passes the bend test. It's holding up. It is good. This is a perfectly cooked point. Let's see how it pulls apart. A little bit of pull, but nothing at all. That's tender. You can see the moisture glistening. We're gonna cut these up into little chunks now. Bark is on point, unreal, tender. You can see the glisten and the moisture of that. I can't wait to dig into this. Now you know I've had my eye on this one, so if you don't mind, I'm gonna go in for a taste. Man, that's A1. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you haven't already, you can check out my Instagram page for more content between the posts. I'll link that in the caption. Remember, keep that smoke alive and have yourself a wonderful day.